Hey everyone. The reading for this week, The Paradox of the Method Actor, Rethinking the Stanislavski Legacy, I started thinking about how much of what Howie says applies not just to actors, but also directing too. What stood out to me is that Beck really challenged the idea that method acting is about diving headfirst into emotion, but just reminds us that it's about structure. It's about connecting to a character's world through both thought and through action. As a director, that just really changed how I think I thought about guiding actors. It's not just, feel it and become it, it's more of a do something that reveals that kind of feeling truthfully. Um, so in rehearsals, I think I would focus more on helping actors figure out what are those clear objectives. What is your beat? What is your actual focus in this scene? Um, and helping to figure out what are those specific physical actions that grounds their emotions, and then how do you reflect those emotions as well in action. This week I found myself telling my actors quite frequently, don't just tell me what the emotion is, but what does it look like. If you're nervous, show me what nervousness look like without saying anything. So it's been a lot of physical things that have been really great to play around with. I love the idea of Beck's idea of the paradox, that acting is its best when it's spontaneous, but it's supported by control and technique. That balance between freedom and structure, I think, is something I really want to figure out how to build into my directing style, where students can take risks and they can explore their character, but within a framework that keeps performances consistent and repeatable. I was also fascinated by his point that it lies in the actor's need to kind of control the uncontrollable, to use technique then to invite that spontaneity. That tension between freedom and discipline, it feels essential to any great performance, and it really reframes the method, um, I think, a bit as mastery than of your craft. Thinking about how I'd use his ideas in a high school production or my production of Radium Girls, I think I would take a pretty similar approach because it is an emotional story of these young women fighting for justice after being poisoned by the company that they had trusted from the time that they are young, impressionable girls. It's easy for students to lean into the drama of it all, given that they're so similar in age to when these female characters begin the start of this story. But Beck's perspective, it just reminds me to help them find truth instead of just exaggeration in terms of bringing the story to life. I'd encourage them to find their characters through specific choices, like focusing on what each person wants in a scene and what actions will take to get it. So I think in that first few rehearsals, I've been doing quite a bit with helping them learn about what beats are and how they need to reflect their character's beat in a scene. I think I might use that simple magic if exercises to help them, um, relate the story's themes to moments in their own lives, if they've ever had to stand up for themselves or felt unheard. And because, his structure, Beck's structure also, sorry, because Beck emphasized structure and sustainability, I think I'd want to make sure they're also finding out that emotional truth in a way that can be repeated without burning out. Like, how can they find something that's sustainable at the high school level that's not also a burden upon them as well? Because at the end of it, they're still young students, they still have other responsibilities, they still have other things going on in their lives as well. In the end, I think Beck's ideas would really help me create a process that's not just about performing history, but about helping students discover authenticity, empathy, and maybe even courage in their own work. Thank you.